Hello. Today I want to bring you on a journey how you can enable an engineer to do changes directly in production. So that's quite a hot topic for enterprises, I think. There are some topics I like to cover, so I want to talk about current situation, about the organization, your application delivery, and your infrastructure delivery, and then talk a little bit about the journey towards your promised land, where you want to be, and how does this promised land look like in DevOps and cloud computing, talking about application, infrastructure delivery, and your organization. A little bit about me, Mark Heistek, 40 years old. I used to work within ING Bank, and I had the privilege to be part of the whole DevOps and continuous delivery transition. In my private life, I like to do a lot of cycling and sports, and I call myself also a DevOps and programmable infrastructure evangelist. So before we go on, I like to share with you what DevOps and cloud computing mean to me, just to give you some reference. DevOps for me is a mindset. It's not a tool, you cannot learn it, it's just a thing you do. And it's more than only having developers and operations together. There was also a question to Luca about this. Do you think business is involved? Yeah, I think it's for the whole company. DevOps is all about getting better every day. So system thinking, think for your customer, get faster feedback loops, continuous learning, etc. Hence, I do not believe in DevOps certifications, so to say, because you cannot certificate in mindsets. Cloud computing is the ability to use infrastructure as a commodity. So just like electricity, you just put in, you've got your power, everything behind it, that's for Leander, and we don't care, it just works. And I also want to add cloud native to this. Cloud native to me is the ability to provision your infrastructure, deploy your applications, and also take care of the health needs of your application in an automated way, so without any human intervention. So, how we used to work, and maybe we are already transforming from this way. If you look at classical enterprises, you work in silos. This is a simplified overview. I just created 3 silos, but mostly you've got IT, business, and some project management in between. And the value is created of the product is created throughout the silos. So every silo contributes to the value of the product. But every silo has its own management team, its own KPIs, its own procedures, its own culture. And within silos, for example in IT, you also have other silos, like changing and running the bank, also with their own KPIs and procedures and culture, etc. That causes that the customer focus is not always there, because you commit to your KPIs, and that's the most important you focus on. So the commitment to customer needs is not always there. And if you look into IT, so development and operations, they also got different KPIs. So operations say, okay, we need to have an uptime of 99.999999%, and development said, yeah, we got a KPI, we have to do a lot of changes for commercial activities. Both good, but they do not team up. So you get this great wall of confusion. And if we look at the software delivery or application delivery in this, and I'm only talking about changing the bank part of IT, you can see it can take a lot of time. Why? Because there's a lot of manual stuff going on, a lot of handovers, a lot of waste is created. There's also within silos, you create a lot of handovers and waste. So I think, I'm not lying, 6 months is quite, to deliver some new software is reasonable. So you start with your analyzers, some information analysts, and designing, testing, and all people got involved. And in the end, if you're lucky, you deploy and it works. If it does not work, then you notice your feedback loop is very long. So you want to go back to the designer and say, yeah, how could you design this? Say, oh, I don't know, I'm not working on another project now, and it was 4 months ago, so I don't know. So just fix it. And the underlying infrastructure we use nowadays is the so-called classic DTAG. So we got the development environment, everyone can play around a bit, and if it breaks, well, no problem, we fix it. And then you got your test environment, so we do some functional tests, and then we come to our acceptance environment, and more production-like, so we can do some stress testing. And of course, you probably have a production environment, ideally over 2 data centers, in an active-active or active-passive way. So, and now I'm working in this test team, and I like to scale up an application environment because I need some extra servers to do my load testing, for example. And now I need to require a new server. So we take the delivery process, for example, and then the testing team. So yeah, we like to have a new server. Then you go to your own colleagues from infrastructure and you say, yeah, I'd like to have a new server. Can we please create one? And these are the configurations. So that first they assign a project manager to that. And they will find some budget for you. And in the end, maybe configure it, have some questions, fill in all kinds of forms, access rights, etc. And then you can use it. If you're lucky, it works directly. If you're not, it goes back because you do not have the right access right. So that's also a long process, cannot take up to 3 months, maybe longer, this to my example. So this is the current situation I want to share to my experience in enterprises, and we want to move there away from that. So we want to make this journey to our promised land where everything is better. And I want to talk about this journey based on the golden circle of Simon Sinek. So the why, how, and what. If you see, there are a lot of change indicators for enterprises. Like we got a lot of failed changes or cause a lot of outages. We cannot keep up with our competitors. We're walking behind. They go fast and we just stay behind. There's no room for innovation. We are only firefighting all the time. Or the costs are too high for maintenance or production of new changes. And last but not least, the customer is not happy with the product. Most companies focus on the what. What can we do to solve this? But they don't focus on the why. Why do you exist as a company? Why do you do it? What's your purpose in life as a company? So what's your vision? In the first talk we heard about vision, mission, and that's very important. So create first a vision, and that turns out to be your mission, strategy, and actions. So everything you do contributes to that vision. And one of the pitfalls is that you see a lot of companies doing DevOps or cloud computing or whatever buzzword they may use, and you say, hey, let's do that. We start copying. So you start copy-paste, and well, yeah, the copy is not as good as its original. It's good to look at other companies, how they do it, but do not do always follow your own vision in this, because you're unique. And also within the company itself, within the enterprise itself, it's the same. If another team is very successful in one way, don't try to copy it. Just learn, steal, and try to do it your own way. Another thing is, if you do not define the why very well, you start automating processes. So let's talk about continuous delivery. You start automating the current process. So why should you do it? The process is there for a reason. You want to change because you want to put a dot on the horizon. That's where we want to go. So rethink your processes, because sometimes it's there for a reason, because there was no some security issues. Yeah, we should always do this like this. So now we start automating in that way. Does it contribute to the why? Ask that question. And if we look at this, one thing I want to add to this is trust your team. Don't start too big. Just start small. like baby steps. So you pick one team, a pilot application, and you start doing that. You put your best man on that, or best women, and then you start small and take baby steps. So you put that dot on the horizon and don't start running towards it. Just small steps, and if it doesn't work, it's easy to take one step back, learn, and go forward. So if we look to your organization, into your promised land, how can it look like? You need to have focus, so burn these silos, because they do not add value, because they are working for their own KPIs. Try to work in product team, customer teams, whatever you call it, and ideally this is also including IT, business, all competencies to create your product. And of course, your architecture needs to change behind this. It's a big change, but for your organization, try to move towards this. Your application delivery, automate your whole software delivery. I'm talking about continuous integration, continuous delivery, agile testing, continuous deployment, but also your ITIL processes. You can change your you can automate your change process, for example. If your tests have been performed well and they're in a log and they update ServiceNow or some other service management tool, and in the end, you do not have any change advisory board needed because it's all automated. And maybe people want to sit together just to get familiar with the fact that they don't have to do anything anymore. And also you see, you create a fast feedback loop. As soon as a test fails, you get directly results. You do not have to wait for the test team for the report and they send it via a product manager and say, oh, this test failed. So you get this fast feedback loop and you try to change small pieces of your application. And then the infrastructure, how can that look like? So I talked about the classic DTAB. Well, we get rid of that. You do not need it anymore because it's there for a reason, because you have this long cycle times of requesting your servers. So the only thing is your production environment. The most important environment in your company is your production environment, because that's where the money is. And if that breaks, there's no money, there's no customer. So if you have your production environment and you change your application, you build up a new environment, just like the other one, and perform all your tests, and if all lights are green, you just change it, destroy your old production environment, and as soon as somehow a security leak or a big incident it pops up, you roll back by deploying your old version again, because you know that works, and you bring it up again. But just talked about the long cycle times of getting your infrastructure. You automate your infrastructure delivery as well. You handle your infrastructure as a code. So this programmable infrastructure. Nowadays, there are a lot of tools coming up, like Docker for containerization. We've got Mesos, Kubernetes for orchestration. And if you handle that as code, so you can build up your environment instantly. And then and deploy it on the cloud or private cloud. To me, a cloud is some infrastructure there ready to use. And just talked about cloud native, so that this is cloud native. So no manual intervention. The only person who can do everything is the engineer or your team, and everything has been automated. So they can deploy directly into production. Yeah, and I want to, I'm going very fast I see, and I want to elaborate more about the pillars of transition towards your DevOps and cloud computing. It's just, if you go to a gym, you start working out, and they say never skip a leg day. But there are a lot of leg days skipped in transitions. People, for example, focus on the implementation, and say, we want to get rid of this manual delivery and we want to go towards continuous delivery. But what if you still have a big monolithic application? Can you do it? Yeah, probably, but is it you need to rethink this as well. You need to break up towards microservices or at least smaller applications. And the same is for your company. Is it really profit driven, or do you have defined your why in your company? So you get more culture and purpose driven. A lot of companies said, yeah, the customer centric. Yeah, duh. That's where you get all your money from. But do they really mean it? Did they really define their why? Your work methodology, well, project management, yeah, and software delivery is, yeah, it's not going well. So you start working on an agile way. You want to work on feedback. So we got multiple frameworks for this, like yeah, Scrum or extreme programming and a lot more. And last but not least, your environment where you're working. So trust your team, make them, how do you say that? Allow them to make mistakes, so they can learn, so they can automate their mistakes, so they can't happen again. So this is, to my experience, 5 pillars. Maybe we have some more. And DevOps is all over the place. DevOps is here in your mindset by getting better every day. And that's what I wanted to share today. If you have any more questions, I will be walking around here all day, or you can reach me via phone, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Thank you.
In the Netherlands, in the past few years, there have been a generalized adoption, or at least on paper, of agile developments. Now you have DevOps. But many actual organizations admit that behind the scenes, the culture is waterfall-like. Still, they claim big benefits, decreased cost, increased speed, and time to market, and becoming more effective. So maybe it's a bit controversial, but is this about the culture that is changed, or is it about that technology is simply becoming more mature, optimal in a way?
Yeah, I mean, you need the technology, but you also need to change culturally.
You want to comment?
Yeah, I totally agree on that. The technology is there, but we need to learn to use it and also to accept it. You see that a lot of people think they will lose their job if they automate their work, but your work is getting much more fun. So it's shifting from responsibilities. So yeah, culture is a great part, but you can't change culture overnight. So you can change the behavior though, and then show some examples how people can work better. So DevOps is not about agile itself; it's about the right mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.